So $1 buys 137 Icelandic kroners. It doesn't go back that much, but it was a much lower number earlier on. Let's see. Yeah. Back before the 2008 crash, Icelandic kroner, $1 bought about 60 Icelandic kroners. And after the crash, they basically settled around 120 range, which means Icelandic kroner lost about half of its value. That's one of the reasons Iceland wasn't affected as much from the 2008 crash. All of their banks went down, but government nationalized them. But the rest of their economy was able to recover from that. Those guys benefit a lot from tourism too. You can go to Iceland in the middle of January and swim. They have these hot water springs pretty much all over the place. I was hoping to do it this winter, but didn't happen. But I'm definitely thinking about a trip to Turkey. But I'll spend a week in Iceland first, then I go to Turkey. I really, want to see that place. Right now, for these credit default swaps, for portfolio management purposes, also act kind of insurance against bankruptcy. You buy a stock, let's say Google, okay? Um, Typically, the risk that you're thinking about, how much the Google stock is going to go up or down within a certain period, right? But the trouble is, if and when the bankruptcy happens, it's kind of almost a black swan event. It creates a discontinuity. But what if you were able to manage that probability a little bit better? You can manage the risk of stocks in two parts. A, risk given no chance of bankruptcy. And risk if there is bankruptcy. Unlike bondholders that get something if bankruptcy happens, stockholders get bupkis, okay, nothing. It would be extremely rare that they actually got something. I mean, stockholders of Signature Bank got something, I think, but not much. When Signature Bank went down, let me see if it's still quoted. No. Yeah, of course it's bearish. SPY. I mean, current price is only 16 cents. If you look at just before everything collapsed, it was about $100. So they got something. I think it was sold for $2 a share or something like that, but I'm not sure. Silicon Valley is even worse. So that's a discontinuity and risk. But if you're managing the risk of those, you probably want to insure against uh, bankruptcy as well. Let's see if they had. I'm sure they had credit default swaps. Well, we don't have it. Let's see. Actually, we actually have a quote. Right now it's 130 basis points, but a year ago it was 93. Uh, at the beginning of, at the end of the year it was 186. I don't know what's going on there. It's been kind of going down, but what's most important is I can insure against uh, Deutsche Bank actually going down. It's not actually a bad idea because in normal times where there is no bankruptcy, there's going to be a fluctuation of the returns. Fine. We can handle those using all sorts of tools, options, this and that. But hedging against default, hedging against bankruptcy actually comes through CDS. So not only you can manage the risk of a bond portfolio, but you can even manage the risk of a stock portfolio using credit default swaps. This basically says if you pay 1.3% a year over the next 5 years, you're insuring against complete bankruptcy of Deutsche Bank. The rest of the risk is assuming there is no bankruptcy, right? And how to manage bankruptcy risk and risk given that there is no bankruptcy, those are two different things. I mean, can I do it using options? For example, this is one of my stocks I have. Let's see if they have a CDS. I don't think they do. Because these guys don't have much debt to begin with. But a lot of banks would give you cash settled credit default swaps. It doesn't even have to be Let me see. Oh, these guys have a financial planning company. Palantir is an AI company. It would not be surprising that they have a fintech component of their AI. But for example, suppose you want to invest into JP Morgan. Currently, it's about 70 basis points. Okay. I mean, if JP Morgan goes down, I don't think it matters too much what you invested in, but at least you can protect yourself against it. Okay. If you want to invest into uh, protect against an idea that a few major banks are going to go down, for example, I expect that to be similar to JP. Yeah, a little bit higher. So by paying kind of 0.8% of your portfolio as an insurance premium, you can insure against the total collapse of the economy. If economy total collapses, you're not going to lose anything at all from your investment. Maybe worth something. Okay. All right. Let's stop here. On Wednesday, you guys think about a topic. If you don't think about it, I'll come up with an interesting topic to talk about.